I'm Dean Huppert, and you're listening to the Mishawaka Education Foundation Halftime Report, and I'm here with Ryan Sargent, and you're our expert in art. You lead the program, and I know there are a lot of exciting things. Even though people graduate, you've got people coming right behind them.
Oh yeah. We've the department's grown again. We used to be 2 teachers here. Now we have 6 art teachers in our department, and things are rolling.
Yeah, talk about some of the things that you do early in the year to set yourself up for those awards, because when they come out, it's like Mishawaka just seems to dominate in this area, and I know you're setting those things up long before those awards come out.
Yeah, even in the spring, the year before, we're thinking about the Scholastic Art Awards. And we have some of our top artists making artwork. We're always intentionally in the back of our mind thinking this would be good for the show. This one would work for the art show, and then of course this fall we're in high gear getting stuff ready for the art show.
Yeah, and just talk about your success. I know parents may be thinking in elementary or middle school like, boy, I'd love to get my child involved in this. What is some advice that you might give to some of those youngsters to get that passion, to get that spark?
Well, it is a great activity for kids, being able to do something hands-on, getting them away from a screen or a video game. Any of those kids that seem to be a little creative, show them some Bob Ross videos, get them some, tutorial books on how to draw this, how to draw superheroes, how to draw dinosaurs, all of those sort of things, get the ball rolling. But mostly when a kid gets really good at art, it's because an adult at some point has said, that's really good. And maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but the fact that the kid got a little support, a little praise for it, so they'll do it a little more because it felt good. And if they do it a little more, then the artwork does get better. Right. And then an adult says, wow, that's really getting good. And then it just snowballs from there, and then you've got an art student when they're in high school.
Yeah, you mentioned screen time. How is that balance here in 2023 with doing art as a graphic artist compared to getting out the stencil and the easel?
Yeah, well, we do everything in our art department. Everything's traditional, and also we have a digital art program. We have 8 different classes now that are all based on working on digital art, graphics, vector graphics, raster graphics, all of that. But we still do darkroom photography. We still do drawing and painting the old-fashioned way. So every bit of art history is represented, all the way from the first stuff painted on a cave wall all the way up to the digital stuff done in Adobe Suite.
Yeah, now we're here at halftime of a football game, and I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about your coaching days and just how that impacted you, and do you miss it at all? Because you were such an important part of Mishawaka football and making those lines great.
Well, I was fortunate enough to coach with Jim Aldridge, and Al Smith was still coaching when I started, and then I got to spend some time with Bart Curtis. And that really shaped, kind of Bart even influenced how I was going to teach, because I would probably say the way I teach is a lot like coaching, pushing these kids, get them to give me more, do your best, you can do better than that, and that's paid off pretty well. And then of course I got to finish my career with Keith Kinder, who I call Skipper.
Yeah. When you think about the coaching to the art, and I've talked to you about this before, but positive reinforcement is so important to tell somebody that, boy, your product is not very good, may take them the wrong direction, but if you lift them up or say, you know what, your vision is your vision.
Yeah, there's two big things that I do in class that I think have paid off over the long run, and that's making sure kids aren't worried about failing, and I want them to experiment and try things. And I just promised them, I said, look, if this doesn't turn out, I promise you'll still get a good grade. Try this. Yeah. Don't worry about it not turning out. You're going to get a good grade just for trying something, experimenting, trying something new, being creative. Don't worry about the final product being something awesome that needs to be a wall hanger. It's okay. And then the other thing is just, encouraging to do better than when they started. I always try to remind them, I got a couple students right now that are in AP that started last year just nowhere near the level they're at right now. And I constantly remind them, remember where you were at last year. I mean, you were nowhere near this good. Your technique was not this good. So I always try to encourage them to compare themselves against themselves. You versus yesterday. Make sure you're constantly getting better all the time at what you do.
Yeah, the corporation's obviously fortunate to have you in that position, but you also open up some eyes with some trips. Talk about that, just traveling overseas and giving kids the opportunity to experience something they may never get to do again.
Yeah, in 2012, I started planning this out, and in 2013 we had our first small little group of 9 students traveling Italy. The Sistine Chapel, the Colosseum, we got to see all the big sites. Michelangelo, Leonardo, all the Ninja Turtles. We got to see all of their artwork, and it was a really great experience. And I've done that every other summer since. We've been to Italy, France, England, Ireland, Switzerland, wow, Germany, Austria, and then coming up, we got a trip in 26 going to Japan.
Yeah, so it has to be awesome for you to be able to see the kids and just the experiences that they get, but then maybe down the road when they come back and talk about that.
Yeah, well, and you mentioned, down the road if they come back, some of the kids that have gone on these trips have come back and contacted me and they said, hey, we want you to put together an adult tour for all of us. We want to go on tour again with you. And I'm like, you guys are adults. What do you want to go on tour with your old teacher? So we are. In 25, we're heading to Ireland and Scotland with a bunch of my former students, and they're all adults now, so that'll be a little different than when they were students.
Yeah, very cool. Well, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much. And this has been the Mishawaka Education Foundation Halftime Report, and we've been talking to Mr. Ryan Sark.
Thanks, Dean.